we'll go through some of the questions here if you want to stick online. And I'll go in no particular order, I guess. I have what here is what type of freeze protection is provided in the monoblock. They do have electric freeze protection in the pan on the outdoor units. On the monoblock, it depends on your climate zone. They prefer not to use antifreeze because, of course, you suffer a lot of performance degradation. So what people would normally do would be you have electric protection of the actual unit and then to go underground with pre-insulated pipe to make sure you're not freezing there. So those are the solutions that they look at. Well, Daikin work for Energy Soft Title 24 specifications. We're working on that right now. I do have a Title 24 section. Our COPs, we can get you our annualized COPs for a given project. That needs to be converted to HSPF. I have those, that data here. Right now, in terms of Daikin for the altherma, received a waiver from the DOE about 3 weeks ago. DOE recognized that there is no standard for testing air-to-water heat pumps. So they've agreed to use European testing standards for COP, EER, and for domestic hot water. We're writing that up at this point. It's in the conversion factors. But we know that the COP methodology is the same in Europe as it is here, so we're fine in that regard. In domestic hot water, the conversions for cooling, the EERs on cooling is taking place as we speak, but they will be above 10. We'll discuss that more in our next session. Are we still fans of the Phoenix system? You betcha we are. There's really a split in California between gas-fired and electric systems. It depends what you're trying to accomplish, but a great many number of systems out there are still going to be gas-fired systems. And I would say that if you're choosing to do gas and the design is going that direction, that's really the best solution we know of, the Phoenix and Phoenix Evolution and the Phoenix Solar. But if you're going all electric, certainly the altherma is the best solution there is on the market at this point. Yes, I have a question about domestic hot water temperature being too low if integrated with a heat exchanger. That is a low temperature going into that heat exchanger in the indirect water heater. That's why the recovery rates are slow, and that you will have times where you have to use, if you want to go above 120 degrees, you'll have to use booster for a very short period of time. But keep in mind, that's a very short amount of energy, actually, to boost it from 120 to, let's say, 125 and 130 in terms of in looking at the capacity of the tank. So that's why I do point out that storage is the best way to manage load profiles when you're dealing with these kind of units. Based on low temperature system, does this mean radiant heating tubing in a 6-inch slab would not be as efficient as a 2-inch slab? The answer is it's always the case when you have a 6-inch slab, you have to pump a lot more energy into that slab. Thinner thermal masses are much preferable because look at this in terms of temperature and recovery rate as well. What we used to think of as pickup in the system. This will, and why outdoor reset makes so much sense with these systems. You want to be energizing the system and slowly, and being able to adjust it to outdoor temperature rather than trying to do big pickup exercises where you have to dump a lot of energy in. So I would say 6-inch slabs are not a very good choice in terms of response. The lower the temperature, the less response you're going to get. John is adding, it's especially important with the cooling. If you're doing slab, that is, yes. Slab cooling we could talk about at length, and it has a bunch of limitations to it.
Or the switchover.
Oh, well, of course, one of the great limitations with radiant cooling in slabs is trying to switch over between one and the other. That's its great problem. And because if you're cooling during the day and heating during the night, you're trying to charge and discharge slabs. It becomes a very awkward condition, and why radiant ceiling cooling makes a whole lot more sense than floor cooling. Retrofits of residential forced air systems with natural gas hot water heaters. I would say that the real retrofit market that's very attractive here is propane, where people are suffering under the utility costs associated with that, and where you'd be going in and taking out the FA unit, maybe using the same ducting and putting in a variable speed air handler with hot and chilled water. That would be a very good choice, unless you're in, of course, a utility area where you have less than 18 cents a kilowatt hour. Then that is a very good retrofit market. There are many parts of the country where the retrofit market is going to be instantaneous against natural gas. Here, you have to pick your spots. Okay, I think I answered a little bit about the appliances and the regulation, and we do have, hopefully it's online. If it's not, I'll put it on the waiver that received by the DOE. That's, you can read that in depth, and it will provide you background information on the way the DOE is looking at this. And yes, the annualized COP, the question is, does annualized COP performance include the energy used for heating element backup? And the answer is yes, that is included in the annualized COP calculation provided in the software. Another question is, what are the CFM ranges on the ducted fan coils for ducted heating and cooling? Greg, I'll have to get that to you. It's listed in our data for those particular air handlers. It's online under the section on convectors. So we'll just direct you. I don't have the CFM ranges right on the top of my head, but I will definitely get that to you, and it is on the data on the line. Is that our questions? So those are, this is, I think, the end of what we have to present today. Look forward to seeing you in contractor training if it applies, or to our webinar on design coming up. And please feel free to give us a call with any questions you might have. So thanks again, and hope to talk to you soon.